Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Good day and welcome to Transformation Tuesday, where spiritual seekers just like you learn shamanic practices and tools to reclaim our empowerment from the influences of our past that limit us living our truth. Welcome here. Great to be back with you. Have you read the 4 Agreements? I can almost hear you saying yes, because I know this book has been read by over 15 million people now, based on the number of copies that have been sold in its 27 years since being published. It's been translated into 40 different languages, maybe more by now. The author, Don Miguel Ruiz, calls the 4 Agreements a guide to personal freedom. A guide to personal freedom. Yes to that. Please say hello in the comments if you're watching me live, or if you're on the replay. You know I love to know that you're here. I am Liz Forrest, a master shamanic teacher of over 25 years, sharing these Toltec practices and tools of personal freedom as I've learned them, and with permission, in person and online in classes and workshops and power journeys. I read the 4 Agreements when it first came out in 1997, which was about 5 years into my 10-year apprenticeship on the path of the Toltec mastery. And the 4 Agreements are a resource book for me. Even though I've read it countless times, I receive insights each time I take it off my shelf and open it to read a few lines or a chapter, a whole chapter again. So have you read the 4 Agreements? You could put yes in the comments, or if this is new to you, you could say new. Reviewing the 4 Agreements from where I am in my life presently is helpful again and again. It's one of those books that never dates. It is always relevant to our current life, which really I feel is such a huge gift from Don Miguel Ruiz, is bringing these ancient teachings into contemporary modern day times. So today I'd like to review the 1st agreement with you. Maybe it's your first time in learning it, or maybe it's also a review for you. And that's another part about these 4 agreements, is to continue to go back over and review them and remind ourselves of these 4 agreements to our own personal freedom is so helpful. So the 1st agreement is to be impeccable with your word. This teaching from Don Miguel is that the word is a force. It's a power. It's a power that we have to communicate and create the events of our lives. And our word holds the energy. It holds the energy either of love or of destruction. Yeah, reflect on that for a moment. Can you relate to that? That our words can hold the energy of love and harmony, or of destruction and hatred. We're seeing it so clearly right now in our world, that the power of the word in the political arenas around the world that are so powerful, creating so much fear and hatred in each other. And we see this in history. Again and again, it's been repeated that the power of the word is so strong a force that it can create hatred and war and so much chaos in the world and in ourselves. Yeah, in ourselves. So let's talk about how to work with this agreement, being impeccable with our word. By speaking with integrity, by speaking your truth, not saying yes when you mean no, saying only what you truly mean, refraining from using the word to speak against yourself. Starting there, refraining from using the word to speak against yourself or gossip about other people. gossip is such an accepted way of communicating in our culture, speaking for the culture that I'm from and the culture that I live in currently, that it's a very acceptable way of communicating. And in these teachings, it's a form of black magic to speak about other people that are not right in front of you. Gossiping. It's a black magic. And another step in being impeccable with our word is taking full responsibility for our own unhealed emotional wounds that come out in our communication about ourselves or about each other when we're feeling triggered inside ourselves. Practicing being impeccable with your word takes you on a journey of self-discovery, of your own agreements that you've made somewhere along the way that are no longer true or even serving anymore. They also, our unhealed wounds, create emotional poison in ourselves. Being impeccable with your word dismantles the judge inside us and ultimately increases our own self-love. So it at first sounds so simple, hey? Doesn't it? Be impeccable with your word. Yeah, okay. And then when we start to practice it with a real commitment and step into more awareness of where we are impeccable and where our impeccability of our word maybe needs some strengthening. So as you practice this one agreement, more and more you begin the journey to your own personal freedom. Yeah, it's a practice. Really, I think it's a lifelong practice. Yes. So let's review this. Speaking with integrity is being impeccable with your own word. Speaking your truth. Not saying yes when you mean no. Doing what you say you're going to do. That's another one. Not saying yes out of obligation. No, doing what you say you're going to do because you truly mean it. Refraining from using your word to speak against yourself or gossip about other people. And taking full responsibility for your own unhealed emotional wounds when they come out sideways. Yeah, having a look at that. What's really going on inside you when that happens? So I'd like to ask you what I ask my students when they first embark on this journey is, when in your life do you think that you are impeccable with your word? Where does that show up? Where you're really impeccable with your word? Maybe it's with your closest people, your beloveds. Maybe it's in your work life where you feel you're really impeccable. And second part of the question is, and where and when do you feel you would like to strengthen your impeccability of your word? Again, maybe you are least impeccable with your word with your closest people. That often happens, doesn't it? Or maybe you're least impeccable with your workmates, your colleagues. So there's a little practice, little homework around this practice for you to check in with yourself. Where do you feel you're most impeccable with your word? And where do you feel you would like to strengthen your impeccability with your word? If you'd like to learn more about the 4 agreements and this path of discovery, which it truly is, contact me for a complimentary 30-minute session. I'll put my email link in the comments, and I'd love to meet you. We can talk about the 4 agreements and how you can deepen your practice with this first agreement. And for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about the other 3 agreements that Don Miguel Ruiz brought forward in 1997. Yeah, a long time ago now. And as I said earlier, they're still as current, as important, as valuable now as they were then. That's the beauty of truth teachings, isn't it? They never become irrelevant. So thanks so much for joining me. And reminder to contact me for a 30-minute complimentary session, and we can talk more about the 4 agreements, beginning with this first agreement, being impeccable with your word. Thanks for joining me, and you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next week right here in Transformation Tuesday. All my love.